First, let's take a look at the key. For the lock button, we can press once to lock, double-click to find car, and long press to raise windows. For the unlock button, we can press once to unlock or long press to open windows. Last, we can press and hold to open or close the trunk. Next, let's take a look at the steering wheel. On the left, we have the customizable button, cancel button. We can activate ADAS, increase or decrease set speed, and increase or decrease following distance. On the right, we can adjust the volume, switch tracks, and pause or play using the middle button. We can press and hold on this button to toggle information on the right side of the instrument cluster. Below, we have voice assistants. For the instrument cluster, from left to right, we have weather, ADAS, gear information, electric and fuel range, and on the far right, we can toggle what information we want to show. Let's switch from media to tire pressure, trip information, average electricity consumption, and average fuel consumption. The head unit and passenger display are connected as one big screen. First, for the head unit, we have the drop-down menu. We can customize what shortcuts we want on the menu. On the upper bar, we have the User Center, Date and Time, Notification Center, Cellular Network, Bluetooth, Volume Settings Shortcut, Streaming Rear View Mirror, Dashboard Camera, Rear Entertainment Display Control, Wi-Fi, and Privacy Settings Shortcut. On the desktop, we can scroll to toggle between different wallpapers. On the upper left corner, we have a fixed navigation widget. And below, we have customizable widgets. We can press and hold to edit, we can select a maximum of 4 widgets. Now let's switch to live desktop. We can see that the background for the head unit and passenger display has changed, but the layout for the widgets remain the same. We can tap on this character to activate Voice Assistant.
主驾，我来了。
Here we have car control shortcuts, such as headlight control, sunshade control, charging port control, trunk control. We can also drag the vehicle model to switch between different angles. Next, let's switch to the map desktop. Again, the widget layouts remain the same. But now for the background, we have an interactable map that extends to the passenger display. Let's return to the wallpaper desktop. On the lower bar, first we have the Home button, which returns us back to the desktop. Next, we have the Smart bar, which will display charging information while charging, but at the moment, it displays media. The Smart bar will also provide different options when we switch to other modes. For example, let's enter nap mode. The smart bar will show an option to exit the mode. And when we're back at our home page, it has the option to return to the rest mode. Moving on, we have the vehicle control shortcut. Climate control shortcut, including air conditioning, seats, and fragrance. We can also adjust the temperature directly by scrolling on the display. Next, we can press and hold to edit the following 4 shortcuts. We can choose climate control shortcuts or application shortcuts. Swiping up, we can also access the app menu. We can adjust the order by pressing and dragging, but we cannot delete any apps. Next to it, we have connectivity, which includes Huawei HiCar, iCoa Car Link, and Flyme Link. For the passenger display, it will only show content once a passenger is seated. Let's first take a look at the drop-down menu. We have a couple of simple shortcuts such as seat adjustments, display brightness and volume, as well as activating or deactivating fragrance. In the upper bar, we have the rear entertainment display controls, passenger seat Bluetooth, volume control, and date and time. We can tap to refresh the desktop weather report. Again, we can also switch wallpapers by swiping. Below, we have our widgets. We can tap to expand, but we cannot edit the widgets, and there can only be 3 of them. In the lower bar, we have the app menu. It is similar to the head unit, but does not include vehicle settings, vehicle control, and we cannot access connectivity. We can also access the app menu by swiping up. Next, we have media. We can press and hold to edit the 2 shortcuts on the lower bar, also selecting from climate control shortcuts or application shortcuts. We can scroll to adjust the temperature, or tap to access the climate control menu, which is the same as the one in the head unit. Last, we have the home button. Now let's take a look at the rear seat entertainment display. There is no drop-down menu. The home page is separated into the audio-visual room, lounge, and kids room. Some of the content in these rooms are interactable. For example, we can access games in the kids room, AI photos in the lounge, and media in the audio-visual room. Below, we have a list of shows which will change according to the theme. Swiping up, we can access the corresponding recommendations for each theme. For example, in the audiovisual room, we have news. In the lounge, we have entertainment. And in the kids' room, we have kids' shows. The sidebar on each side of the display access the same functions. We have the privacy settings shortcut, volume adjustment, and sound settings shortcut, climate control, which we cannot adjust by scrolling. It includes air conditioning, temperature, airflow intensity, and air vent direction. Next, we have seat adjustments for the second and third row. Settings shortcut, including the power button, split screen display, which when enabled allows each side of the display to open different menus. When the feature is disabled, menus cannot be opened at the same time on both sides. Let's go back to settings. We also have screen cleaning, light mode, screen brightness, and gesture control. We can enable tips to help us with this feature. One major highlight of the rear entertainment display is that we are able to control it with hand gestures. We can make a fist to enter our cinema, point to scroll, select an option by tapping your thumb on your index finger. Let's open a video. We can share a screen with other displays by holding a fist. We can adjust the volume and progress bar by pinching 3 fingers together. Next, in settings, we have connectivity. AI karaoke without mic. Let's try the feature. Mobile remote, and a screen color style. Below, we have the app menu, which mainly includes entertainment apps and excludes vehicle control related ones. For navigation, we only have a search bar. We can search for a location, but we cannot start route guidance. We can also choose to send the location to the head unit for navigation. Last, we have the home button. For the rear seat climate control, first we have seat controls. We can switch between second row and third row and can adjust heating, air ventilation, and massaging functions. Next, we have the fridge, which can heat or cool. It also includes preset modes. Next is air conditioning controls, including temperature, airflow intensity. We have the home page, including shortcuts for the rear entertainment display, fridge, media, and climate control. Next is sunshade controls, rear seat entertainment control, and last we have settings, including sound settings, brightness adjustment, and the in-car power supply. Let's try and switch gears. Let's switch into drive gear, neutral gear, reverse gear, and back to parking. For our center console, first we have the air conditioning switch, front windshield defrost. We can press once on the middle button to pause or play media. Scroll to adjust the volume. Or adjust tracks by using the outer ring. Pressing and holding will access more control shortcuts. We can adjust by scrolling and press the middle button to return. We can adjust temperature, airflow intensity, 3D surround sound, drive modes, and last, suspension. Next, on the center console, we have air recirculation and automatic climate control. We cannot lock the car from within. Let's exit the vehicle. The vehicle will automatically power down when it is locked.